This is Chris Leo, one quarter of the Black Super Friends podcast. And tonight I bring to you the Man Show. That's the MAN, Males Accountable Night. Male Accountability Night. Sorry about that. Sit back and take a ride with us. Peace.
Cause I'm addicted to the good life. Yeah, either way I follow. No need to say where we are heading now, babe. I follow.
Sorry for the botched intro. Today again, this is the Man Show. Males Accountability Night. And I basically want to talk about issues that men struggle to have accountability in. It's going to get a little controversial. You know, the questions are complex, but fellas, I ask nothing but the truth out of you. And we're going to get right into it. Male accountability. What is our issue with mental health and therapy? And I hate to just put that on you, but the stigma is that we're not accepting of mental health and therapy. And I wanted to ask you guys why. We got a special guest tonight, Booty Face Johnson. Why don't you start us off? He shaved his beard off and he gonna try to sit back all deep and hide. No, bro. Let's see it, Booty Face.
Listen, I'll be back, boy. 5 days. I'll be back, boy. I'm just trying to correct the error that happened. I won't name the culprits involved in the case. It's equal responsibility for the incident. But the question was, no, Shirley, no, that's not funny. What the hell are you, Shirley? No, that's no. So again, you said about the mental health accountability and therapy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the stigma of surrounding it, right?
Yes. With us in particular, black men.
Okay, one, the way we raised up, I tell you all the time, we're raised up almost like pit bulls. You know, we were once taught to be without emotion. We were taught to be tough, not to cry, be strong, especially around other men. You don't want to show any vulnerability. And then you get to a certain age, now everyone's the trendy thing is telling us to just throw all of that out of the window. But we've been operating that way for so long. So, you know, I think the biggest issue with men is feeling safe. You know, that's a big thing. So a lot of times a man will get closer to a woman and you'll see him get wiser. You'll see him soften up because he got with a woman who made him feel safe enough to open up and tackle some of the things he might have inside, right? So then, you know, especially I can say for myself, I spent so much time in my life just surviving day to day. I think black men have so much responsibility on them. Some are overcoming childhood traumas, they day-to-day surroundings. You know, a black man may come up in a house, whether it's a broken house, whether it's substance abuse, man, he grows up with a handicap on him anyway. So I just think black men have so much that they have to unpack when they get older, because day to day, the average black man has so much that he has to endure or he carries with him. And that Denzel quote of pain is passed down from a father to a son, I do think that is big. You know, it took me a long time to get old enough to, you know, recognize some things that even if it was right or wrong, I was doing certain things because, you know, it was kind of instilled in me, whether it's conscious or subconscious. So I just think it's about how we were raised. You know, we were taught to operate. And once you get into a place where you get a little older and feel safe enough to unpack it, I think you would change. But, you know, the man's biggest issue, he's supposed to be the protector. He's supposed to be strong. We ain't come up soft. So that ain't something we're going to unpack easily.
Okay. I think you gave me a textbook answer, but I want to know why you don't go.
why I don't go to therapy.
Yes. And what's your issue with the mental health and how you feel about it?
Because what I'm seeing now, I honestly see right now, we start getting tender, and we start opening up and talking about feelings, and now you have a whole generation of men where I see so much feminization involved that I don't know, man. I think if I went to therapy, it'd probably be with another guy. I'll probably have to have a black male, somebody who can relate to me. I think addressing your feelings or talking about it, therapy could be good. But if all you're going to do is keep talking about it, you're never going to act on it. What's going to come from it? So for me, I never felt safe enough to go to therapy. I ended up probably becoming my own therapist just these last 3 years, having time to myself. Because when you by yourself, you ain't got nobody to deal with but yourself. And once you can deal with yourself, then you can learn to deal with other people. So therapy, I don't even trust doctors. So I don't want nobody getting up inside my head. And, so now I done went from a productive, responsible person, and now I'm tinkling with stuff that, I just feel like with black men, you hear too many terms come out now where we always getting labeled, from ADHD to all the other labels. No disrespect to the mental health community. I just think some of it is not a label. Sometimes you got to tell a motherfucker, hey, be a man, get your shit together, have accountability, take care of your responsibilities. And he can't do it because he has this syndrome. Nah, I think we don't have time or luxury to be putting more handicaps on us.
Well, I think I want everybody to know that we come from a space of where we've had previous shows dealing with therapy and mental health. We've brought on mental health experts, we brought on therapists. So we're not coming from a place where we just want to have a conversation. Let's just say it like that. So, Damari, I'm gonna go with you because I think you have some unique views on it also.
Yeah, I don't trust it. I don't believe in it. And I don't think it worked. And that's coming from a person who say, like, one of my closest friends is therapist. My wife's best friend is therapist. So I'm around therapists all the time. I'm a factual based person. And I feel like the perception or what therapy is supposed to give me is a way out, right? It's supposed to give me a deeper understanding, an outlet, and to help me understand. Well, I understand. Life ain't fair, and neither is favor. So I'm gonna spend less time sitting on the couch talking to somebody about issues and try to spend more time praying, for one, about me finding a way to solve issues for people. I believe that men are solvers. I believe that in our life that we're not gonna have it easy. It's never said, it never was promised in nowhere that it was gonna be easy. So I just don't understand the reasoning behind having a therapist. People always tell me you always got to keep your circle small. Your friends matter the most to you. Those are the people who you're gonna tell how you are producing in life, how you growing in life. To me, that's what y'all for. I know people, that's everybody always say you're not supposed to talk to your friends. That's what your friends not for. Your friends don't have all the answers. But I feel like these people knew me for majority of my life. They done seen most of my life. They have seen the ups and the downs, the progressions and the regressions. I believe they love me without me paying a check. I believe they're gonna answer the phone when they don't want to. And I believe that right now, besides my woman, these are the people who I talk to the most. So if I can't listen to what they have to say about my life, why would I listen to Ronnie or Ricky? Because he read a book and it told him that this is what I am, or this is what he should say at this moment. Because another person wrote a book that said, this is what you should say at this moment, and this is what he's doing at this moment. I just don't.
Is it any way that you can blend the two, your spirituality, praying, and therapy and mental health? Do you think there's a common ground that you guys that you can blend both?
I think people do it all the time. I'm just telling you that I don't believe in it. Like right now, I believe that, like, we do that every day. People act like we don't do that every day. Like they say have faith, but at the end of the day, I go to work and have faith in the boss that he's gonna pay me at the end of the week. So I'm saying, like, I learned how to just do all my. I don't just do what I want in life, so I understand that. I'm just saying, anytime I ask a therapist, tell me honestly, what will I get out of therapy? The first thing they say to me is what I put into it. Well, shit, what did? What damn? Well, so hold on. So the expert tells me I only get what I put into it. Well,
But
how
they say
would
the
I
same thing about faith.
Huh?
Think about that.
Right. So then if I tell you, but I tell you this, whether you believe in it or not, that doesn't mean something doesn't exist. So right now, Chris existed. When you die, go on. And when your daughter tells the story about Chris, they could choose not to believe that Chris was here. That doesn't mean that you wasn't. That's what faith is. I want to know, because all of a sudden, in a woman-driven workforce, why all of a sudden is this just the end-all, be-all of producing great human beings? So the rhetoric is, if you're not going through therapy, you have not done the work. If you're not going through therapy, you're not healed. If you're not going, so how do you put that stigma on everybody when we know every way don't work for everybody? And then if you say you don't go to therapy, you immediately look down on and ridicule. When we also will say, the same therapist will say, every way don't work for everybody. It's Advil, Tylenol, all kind of headache medicines, because everything don't work for everybody. But the minute I take Advil and say I don't like Tylenol, I'm the worst person in the world. Anything in the world, and I always tell you this, I don't believe nothing in the world should be pushed on you. Jesus never pushed Christianity on you. Those are false prophets doing that. I tell you that all the time, and that's not godly, and that's not Christ-like. So anytime somebody's forcing something on you, oh, you need to go do this, you need to go do that, you got to do this. I tell you that about Christianity all the time. That's not right, and I don't believe that in any sort. That's not right, because one thing Jesus came to do is give us free will. So nobody gonna take it from me. That's all.
Zay, I know you hang out with a lot of mental health experts. I know that you're sensitive to this subject. I've heard some of your comments on previous shows, so you're pretty sensitive to this subject. I'd like to get your opinion on this.
Sensitive or empathetic? I mean, I
understand it. Correct me.
Yeah, I understand it. I haven't done it. You've asked why not. I'm going to say procrastination, and it's probably because I pulled back for the reasons my two brothers just said. One, you got to feel safe enough to do it. I've said, and I've even spoke, like Issa's saying, Issa's a mental health therapist, and I've spoke with her, but I still haven't brought myself to do an actual appointment where I can sit down with someone and just kind of go off on it, all the things that I may be short on in life, or that I'm, probably not, I don't know, dealt with, or how I feel on them. I can do that with you guys, because I know y'all, like Mario said, it's a safe space. Y'all gonna tell me, Zay, you bullshitting, or Zay, you got to turn it up right here a little bit more, or, like that completely makes no sense. And I can take that from you guys and kind of go back to the drawing board and do what Horace said, be by myself. Do that mirror reflection of, Zay, you making mistakes here, or you're not doing your best in this area, and tighten up and kind of come up with some goal setting. But actually sitting down with a complete and utter stranger that I don't know to do that, I can't tell you that I'm a fan of that, or that I'm even brave enough to do that. And it does stem from the way that we were raised. We've been told to be tough. We've been told, don't show no weakness, no emotion, all of these things, right? Because that's what a man is supposed to do. And just like Horace alluded to in the beginning, all of a sudden you get older, and now it's the it thing to do, and everyone wants you to be soft and be vulnerable. But we know from the time we grew up and we were little boys that the women that we're trying to attract don't like soft and vulnerable men. Maybe with them, but it's going to take you a minute to get through that rough exterior. What's that phrase? I think Horace called it a pomegranate. A pomegranate is rough and bumpy and lumpy on the outside and ugly. On the inside is some of the sweetest fruit you ever had. Well, that's how most guys are. And unfortunately, the therapy that most women probably want to see happen with them men are going to have to start with them. Just like with children, you're the first teacher. If he can confide in you, become soft enough to do that, then maybe y'all might be able to do therapy down the road. But as for right now, most men are not doing that. Shout out and hats off to the guys that do take the steps to do that, that are brave enough. As Mario said, it's a different pill for everyone. Some people may like to fix themselves, or trust their inner sanctum of friends and coterie that they can help get them on track, versus going and sitting with a licensed professional that's telling you that you're doing this or doing that, and they really don't know you from a can of paint. That's the only drawbacks that I can see with doing therapy. They help some people. Don't get me wrong. Like you said, we have friends who this is their career and they do pretty well for themselves. Unfortunately, like you say, some people like holistic treatment, some people like acupuncture, some people like medications and pills and doctors. It's all going to be a preference. But I don't know. As for me, it's going to be procrastination.
Have you ever had a conversation with a person that's, I say a male that's going through therapy, and they enlighten you on any of this, or are you just saying this?
I have.
Speaking from the unknown.
No. I actually have a good friend of mine who even recommended a fellow to go and go see. He was a black man. He, a little ways down. I think he was in the Lauderdale district and stuff like that. And he said it helped him. Now he comes from an army background, so he may have dealt with PTSD. I'm not certain what he saw while he was in the service, but when he came out, he did sit down, or he thought that enough of himself that he needed to go and sit down with someone to help him kind of deal. And so he did refer me to someone. He told me, good things and stuff, but hey man, some people drink, some people smoke. Everybody finds their way of how they resolves their situations, and that's the way he found. For me, it just wasn't convincing enough. I hear you, but it didn't move me to a place of where I said that's something that I gotta do.
I'll tell you I'll be honest with you. I'm divided on this situation. I think that, I don't think that people are recommending it too much, and if it isn't helpful. But what I would say is, for us, the way I speak about me, the way it's presented to me is more. It doesn't seem like it's presented to me out of love. It seems like it's presented to me in a condescending fashion. It seems like when you want to talk down, you'll say, "Oh, you need to go to therapy." You're not using it as an uplifting tool. You're almost using it as a tool to strike down on me or something like that. And I've heard that it almost feels like it's an agenda being pushed on us, as if something's wrong with you, so you need this, And what I think as black men, what we want to see is the results from it. Because what I've seen a lot of our women push this on us. And I'm not speaking down on that, because I'm hopeful that it's coming from a good place. But I hear a lot of them speaking up highly of it. And what I see comes from it is a lot of self-love. And I believe in that. I'm starting to believe that self-love is one of the biggest, most dangerous drugs that we have that has been created. That overly self-love. If you love yourself too much, how can you share some of that love with someone else? And I'm not seeing the product of therapy coming back into the community and loving, being more accepting, being more gracious. But I would love to, hopefully Issa one day will grace us with her presence, and we can have a deeper conversation about this. But I must move on. The next conversation is this: what is the man's hesitation with commitment? I think these two things go hand in hand. Since it's accountability night, what is your hesitation with commitment? We're gonna start with Zay.
I'm gonna say FOMO. For the most part, fear of missing out, not knowing what it is. So I've said this, I expressed this with myself as far as me and how I conducted myself, how I live. I think I dialed it back a whole lot. Like I told you guys, I hardly go anywhere. A lot of things that I've always done, I don't really do anymore, because it just don't really excite me or move me toward the goals that I have set. So it's something that I know that I can do, but I know that before that would be my commitment issue, because I'm out here living. Why would I even dare play with myself? I view myself to be an honest man. So with me being honest, I don't want to be out here playing, talking about it is and it ain't. So what am I committing to? Stop playing. But that's just me. I don't know. I love to hear what you guys got to say.
No, I want Demario to cross-examine everybody's statement. I want you to listen to it and cross-examine everyone's statement if you can from it, my brother. What did you hear? What did you hear in that? What you want to say to him?
I don't want to have the responsibility that it takes to be held accountable if I fuck up. And I think most men do that. I think Zay respects marriage and respects commitment. So instead of saying, you know what, let me take on this challenge, I'm gonna say, you know what, I don't want to fuck it up, so I'm just not gonna do it. And I think most men take that road. And I think and it's coming from a place of, like I said, respect of commitment, but then it goes back to you just don't want to put your big boy drawers on and say, yeah, this is gonna be hard, but I deserve it. And that comes from, I think men don't really see the value in commitment no more.
Horace, as a person that has committed once in his life, then decommitted, what's your hesitation with commitment? Because you did commit one time and then decided to decommit. It wasn't, you wasn't in the 20% that we weren't in the 80% that get divorced. You actually initiated this one. So tell me, what's your hesitation with commitment?
Well, I don't know what that information had to do with the subject, but you damn sure make sure that you answer this question tonight. Because since I have came out of high school, I have been in nothing but relationship. A 5-year relationship, another 5-year relationship, a 3-year relationship, a 10-year relationship. I have been in nothing but relationships. But your question was what? Because you threw me off with the slap.
My bad. What is your hesitation with commitment now? Then,
right now, knowing what I want. Sometimes, and now what I'm going for, if I can't get it, it's a different story. But knowing what I want, knowing what works for me, sometimes you get a certain taste. You know what you want. Hell, back in the day, me and Zay would drive down to Long John Silver just because I said I wanted some damn fish and chips, because I know what I wanted at that moment. So I've always been driven by that. So my whole life has been this.
They even try to have a serious moment here.
I'm sorry, dog.
Put a fucking shirt on. But listen, so my 20s, because I didn't get enough mentorship to know not to, have kids. Hey, I just thought because of the blueprint of everybody in my life, hey, you graduate from high school, you go to college, maybe not, but you get you a girl, get you a job, start having kids, start a family. My dumb ass started a family. So my 20s and my 30s, just to the edge of my 40s, I spent raising kids, being a super dad. But the point was, so after the 10-year relationship, I take accountability for that. I do. Not saying she's not, she's innocent, but I'm taking responsibility for me because the person I am now has the tools to be able to handle some of the situations or problems that I thought were big problems back then. So I've grown. So right now, I will say that the problem with commitment is knowing my value. I think when a narcissistic era, I have worked my ass off to get where I'm at. So yes, I think it's fair for a man to say he want a return on investment. It's a lot of women that hop in your inbox. Everybody fine right now. The best teeth on the market. They done had the surgeries. They are visually appealing. But hell, you don't want to be around half of them for a couple hours. You can't hold a conversation with them. They ain't got no drive. So at the end of the day, it's not who I can spend the night with. It's about who I can spend the day with. And right now, I got probably 20 more years of good, healthy living. You know what I mean? I want somebody that gonna make me look forward to get up every day. Somebody, I don't give a damn. I want somebody who make me want to get up or make me want to get up and do stuff for us. Make me want to get up and hey, let me do this project because I want to take her to Paris next year. Or we're gonna go be looking forward to doing stuff like renewing vows and stuff. Like, I want that. and I don't want to fall for this again. I don't want to be with somebody because they love me. I want to be in love with somebody who I love just mutually as much. So I know what I want. So, and hell, I got more years behind me than ahead. So I definitely want to give my best effort towards a relationship, and I know what I want. I don't want to be with somebody laying up I don't respect or it's gonna get boring. Like I really want what I want. So hopefully that helped out, sir.
Okay, well, yeah. DeMar, what you think?
I think that like Horace said, beginning of the conversation, he's been in a lot of relationships, and I think this time he don't want to lose. I think that right now he says a lot of times that like the looks and all that kind of stuff don't matter. It does, and it does a lot more than he say. And I think that what happens is he feels he deserves this kind of woman. I agree, but I feel like that woman with these values, morals, and compassion don't cross his beams. And if that package don't cross his beams, he not going in for it. He's not giving away. He feel like he done gave enough. He done compromised enough. He worked too hard to get to where he at, and he should be able to get exactly what he want because he deserves it. That's what I heard.
Yeah. You think so? You think he deserves it?
You agree with that? Huh?
Who is he to tell me what
I think right
we
now.
All have to judge. We all have to judge.
I know ain't nothing but what I want is going to satisfy me.
Right. And I think that I think a lot of that go off of I told somebody this the other day. I said, I want to talk to we've been trying to get this going to have a married thing. I want to talk to people who got married young. Because I just couldn't, I don't know how you did that. Because what I want in my 20s is no way I want in my 40s. So I think what you want is a where you going. Like what you want. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I agree with he's saying what you want won't make you happy. But sometimes what you want ain't what you need. You see what I'm saying? And I think that you're right though, but it won't make you happy. So he doing the right thing by saying, I'm gonna get what I want. But what happened when you get what you want now, but in 2 years, it changed?
Want is not the key word that I'm challenging. Deserve is the key word I'm challenging. We hear that a lot. I'm a person that personally believe that we don't deserve anything. We get what we work hard for. We get what we negotiate. That's how I believe when it comes down to deserve. That's why I said to you, do you think he deserved it? I remember me and Zay was having a conversation this weekend, and I said this is what I want. He stepped down right on me like, well, what are you gonna do? You what you got going on? You know what I'm saying? So I think that's how I think that if we're gonna have this conversation, that's how we have to do it.
Well, let me ask you something. So when I say what I deserve for what I'm going to give, the work I'm going to put towards the relationship, I want reciprocity. So when I say what I deserve, if I'm going to create the atmosphere for that woman who, like, I'm looking for a woman that lives in their feminine energy, blah, blah, blah. Like, yes, I want to be able to be in that position. So I've been in relationships. You know what I mean? And I've been honest enough to say, well, I know where I'm at. I know my emotional intelligence now, which was not there before. Hell, I know I got tools. Me and Mario were talking earlier. I said some of the shit I got mad about or argued about, that shit is irrelevant to me now. Because you learn like what's important and what's not. And I just say relationships, when you younger, you feel like you the shit. Like, man, relationships come like girls and buses. Like every 15, one coming. But you get to a point is you get out for the one that you want, you get out of it what you put into it. So don't say, this, you deserve this and that if you ain't put nothing into it. So if I put X, Y, Z into it, yes, I'm expecting a bare minimum of what I'm asking for. And that ain't fair. What it is.
But I guess that was the extent of the conversation that me and Chris were having then, what you're saying. Because I hear you and you kind of gave blanket statements as to, what you are going to or what you're going to provide, but you were very direct in what you require. So that's the conversation that me and Chris were having. Like, what do you bring to the table? All right, you know, in order for you to say, I need this and need that. And I'll tell you the reason I'm saying that is because what I've learned along my journey is what you're saying that you want from a person, you got to first be able to do without the knowledge of knowing that they're going to be able to do it back for you because you're doing it from your heart. So it's going to be genuine. You want that genuine connection, kind of how it sounds. If you're not careful in your wording, it sounds like you want a robot. You want to be able to push a button here, there, and there, and this perfect person comes out, and there's no such thing. We know that.
Okay, let me fix this problem right now. Right? Team A, Team B.
Fix it how you may. Hey,
You're not.
the only way you can fix it is in
I
the
think
mirror.
this-
You got to deal with yourself. But we just tell
think
you.
this
Ain't no way y'all gonna tell me about no relationship, Zay. Not well. I would say this, Zay. You're not gonna tell me about no relationship.
I
man.
think
Hey,
this
I've
too,
been
I
in
think-
some of the best ones. I know.
You ain't been in a relationship. You've been in goddamn seasonal ships.
Hey, man, call it what you
Man.
like. I'm just
I've
telling
been
you.
10 years in one.
I think this too.
I ain't been that far.
A lot of times when you say what, see, I don't like this. Just me, you know. Don't shoot me because everything I say does not. Everybody don't agree with me. It's just me. I think a lot of times when people say you got to bring what you want from other people, but see, I don't think that. I don't think that. Sometimes what I require, she might have, and she might not want me to give her that because she don't need that. But I might give her what she needs. So sometimes what you like, you looking for yourself in somebody, but that's not what you need because you need what you don't have. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, I don't require Jaleesa to give what she required me to give her. You know what I'm saying? Like she very good money and this and this and this. She give me stability on like balancing and that like this, but on leadership and stuff like that, and like making quick decisions and doing stuff like that, I give her that. So a lot of times what happens with people is they look for people who mimic them. And now you get what two decision makers. So now you got two decision makers who fighting about making the decision. You got two people who budget, who fighting about who gonna do the budget. You got two people whose strong points are the same, and now y'all fighting about who gonna do it because you don't have no grace in saying, hey, it's hard to step back when that's what you do good. So it's easy for me to step back and say, Jaleesa, you got it, because that's what you do. But then it's easy for her to step back to say, Mario, you got this, because that's what I do. But I done been in relationships with women where we a lot alike. So now it's like, you know, male ego come in, like, bro, I don't need you to I got it. This is what I do. You know what I'm saying?
So this is my thing, Hardy. This is the thing I'm saying, because what you're saying is perfect, and you're right, because you're going to be yourself. Those are your strong points, your attributes. But the things that I'm talking about give are what you just said, and I'm glad you said that, which is grace. You got to be able to extend grace because you're going to want grace. You got to be able to extend trust because you're going to want trust. Those things I'm talking about. The rest of the things is the reason why y'all are together. You feel me? She likes the way you do this. You like that she does this. But you got to give each other a fighting chance, is what I'm saying. In order, if you
but I think that's the fundamentals of relationships. Like I think everybody here, if they say they like some woman, they're gonna be this type of man. We're not talking about we talking under the pretense that the dude who we're talking about, or us right here, are what society say good men. I'm saying like we not robbing women, we not beating up. I'm saying so if you talking about a man coming at status quo, that means you respect women, say you respect women, Chris. You respect women, Horace. You gonna compromise with a woman you love. You're not gonna so all that's gonna be good. But see, I think the tweak is when you get to the point of what are you willing to compromise? See, compromise is the ability to say, I know I can do this. I know I don't have to do this, but yet and still I'm gonna do this simply because of you.
Well, excuse me for thinking we gonna have a real goddamn conversation tonight. Let us listen. One thing about me, I am raw all the time.
So, we heard about you. Got quite a kid.
So to the point, y'all never asked me the characteristics. I just said I want what I deserve.
Right.
So yeah, I'm looking for somebody like Mario said, balance. Hell, with all that I do, somebody who gonna take me away from that. Like I ain't got to share what I'm looking for in it, but when I say I deserve, you know. So I just went. Chris wanted a real conversation. I gave y'all real dialogue, you know, but I ain't gonna be on here scripted. That's one thing I would not do.
No, you are definitely good. We don't know nothing about scripts. We mess up all the time. You know that. Our true followers know how we go. But
Did
no,
Chris
go ahead.
go?
But that was good. That was a good question, though. And that's very. I like that, Chris. I like how you did.
But did Chris go? Because I don't think we're gonna
He definitely didn't. No, he on the chopping block.
We ain't
I
gonna get out
don't know.
this.
We got enough time, man. You know.
No, we
gotta
got time for you.
Oh my ass. We
Just
ain't
don't
get
get
out
long
this.
winded.
This the rest of the show right here. I bet.
No. I just think that the hesitation on commitment is
Examine them.
it don't have my commitment has a value to it. It does. For me to commit my life to you, for me to commit monogamy to you, I believe it has a value, and I'm not going to take it if it's devalued. I want a good deal. I want a really good deal. When you talk to me, I can articulate what I'm going to bring into the situation. I can articulate what comes with my commitment. I'm not taking for an answer. Oh, you get me. That's just not enough of an answer. I want tangible returns on my most prized possession, which is my essence, my time, my care, my protection, my provision, and all that. So, I want a woman to be able to articulate what I get back and be able to proudly do it and happily do it. Not that it's a chore, like I'm trying her by asking her. Because I can tell you what comes with my commitment. I want you to be able to articulate, and I want tangibles. That's what
you heard, Hardy.
I think Chris always. A lot of times you hear with Chris talk, it's kind of like the same thing with Horace was saying about reciprocity, about like I want a good return on my investment. They use a lot of the same words. If people don't, I know they be on a different side of the spectrum. A lot of people think, but if you actually listen to them when they talking about relationships, it sounds exactly the same. And I think it's because one thing for sure and two things for certain. To be vulnerable, you have to be willing to lose. And a lot of times people throw cliches out there saying the only way you can win big is if you what? Gamble big.
Uh-huh.
You can't stack like stacking the deck on your side and trying to secure the best bet. Then you're not gonna get the biggest reward in love. I think love is undervalued because it's more of a business, right? So I think I heard Chris say, I want a woman to wow me. And sometimes in that wowing, it might come with somebody who don't know how to express their love as much articulately. But she's gonna be doing her best to try to show you at every cost. And I think that when Chris looking for a woman, it's crazy to say it, as much as Chris is fundamental, he want a fairy tale love. and a lot of times when you want a fairy tale love, when you're talking about true love, it's just so unscripted and it's so unreasonable. And it's so crazy because every time we talk, me knowing him, I be like, bro, most of your life, the great stuff came out of it by you just deciding to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just deciding to do it. Just saying, good or bad, win or lose, this is what I'm going to do. And great things came out of it. But when it comes to love, all the ducks got to be in a row. It got to be on the bright day at the right time. The sun got to be shining. But every good thing he done had in his life came from, you know what, bro? I'm going to put the best me forward and see what really comes out of this. And I think if more people treat love like that, they'll get a lot of it out of it. But you might lose. And that's the part of life.
Mr. Host Chris Leo, can I say something?
Yes.
Despite the hard hysteria, I want to ask the cross-examiner, could it be possible that Chris is scared to love? Is he protecting his heart? Because out of all of us, I think he's the most probably affectionate one other group. He's such a wonderful guy. But what is stopping Chris from engaging in a relationship, whether it fails or not? What's stopping Chris from going into one of these relationships and showing somebody how wonderful he is, Mario?
I think
I want to answer that question. You asked me, goddammit. I want to answer the question.
I asked the examiner.
I feel as we'll go back to it. I feel as though it's like this. I think that, like with everybody, when they gamble or when they making a huge investment, they want some sense of security. I find it astonishing that women require security when they're most likely to leave. Right. I think that Yeah, no, I want a little bit of security. I want you to tell me what you're going to do for me every day. Because what I have to do it every day. Because you don't want me 364 days of faithful. You want 365. You don't want 364 days of provision and provide all that other stuff. You're going to want it 365 days. So what are you going to give me 365 days? Because you asking for something tangible. I'm saying, what are you prepared to vow yourself to do 365 days when you're mad, when you're upset, when I done piss you off or whatever, all that? Because I have to do whatever you ask me to do, what's required of me 365.
And he will piss you off.
And I think that's a good way to look at it. But I think if you just take the requirements and just live, like honestly, like just live, like. At the end of the day, bro, you don't live through so much stuff, and it astonishes me that the most important thing in this world is love over everything, and it's the most underrated. Honestly, like right now, people gonna say, "I want to be rich, I want a house." They'll tell you all that stuff, and then if a person was to come out and say, "Man, I want to have a marriage, I want to have a beautiful," and all that thing, we're like, "Bro, so what are you gonna?" You're gonna start just tearing it down. Because it's undervalued. Because I don't think people really understand the power in marriage. I really just don't think so. I think they look at it like Chris allude to a lot. It's an agreement. It's a contractual thing. But the institution of marriage is God given. Like no matter what you try to turn it into, that's what it is. So you can take it out of here. You can go to the courthouse. You can do this, but it's an agreement between three people: you, your spouse, and God. And that interlocking is where you bear fruit from. So when you're saying, like, why do I want to be this? Why do I want to be that? See, I understand the blessings on the other side of the table. So when I'm sitting on this side and I'm looking at my homeboys and I'm saying, I remember, I'm party hardy. It was so fun over there. And nobody never could articulate how this felt. Because I agree with Chris. I agree with it. And what Horace he did on his own. But I'm going to say, I felt like I was losing so much by getting married before I got married. I felt like you always hear, because men who are married and men who before have done a poor job of explaining to us the reasons why you get married. They explain to you why you should get a job, why you should be a good daddy, why you should be a stand-up nigga and don't let nobody punch you. But nobody really said, like, what's the benefits of, I have benefits a lot of being married. For one, you become a leader of nations when you get married because you produce other fruit. Because most likely you're going to be the head of a household when it comes to a structure of a family, if you're doing it right. And then you're going to have people who go out in the world who are going to probably speak your ideology, your beliefs, your purity. And if you lead with love, then you're going to have people that's in your household go what? Spread love. That's Christianity. That's love. That's God. Well, see, it always goes back to that. So I always say, sometimes you got to understand, like, I heard Zay say this, and that's the realest shit. Most men feel like they are going to lose. Like they feel like they're losing something. And it's because you think, me and Chris just had this other say, and this, I'm going to let this go. He said, we know this as men. You're not fucking like you did when you were 20. And if you're a man with a purpose and having stuff in life, you ain't getting hoes like that like you did when you were 20 because you got real shit to do in life. So let's get this straight. So that fairy tale, I'm leaving all this behind, is cap. You're not leaving that much behind. Yeah. If you're 40 and you're single, you're not leaving that much behind. You don't do that shit. You don't do that much. 2 nights in the club in a row, you're done for 2 weeks. You can't even imagine. Like, so stop that, cap. But that's the story we tell because it sounds good as men, right? But when you think about it, and I think it's the underappreciation of that, because I always tell my wife this, I don't think women value marriage. Women value a lot of stuff except for marriage too. So then she's not going to value being married to you because she don't look at it as an accomplishment. Like the ring part is, but I'm talking about actually being in an institution of marriage. I think marriage as a whole is undervalued. And I think that it's because people, you don't have to sell it, but I think people are really not telling the fruits of it. Like I don't have to be alone. Like the stuff that they tell me therapy do, like I learned to compromise better being married. I learned to be selfish, selfless more being married. I learned to control my anger a lot more being married. It motivates me to work harder being married. Like all that stuff I'm getting because of my vow. And I know these 3 men on here take their words so seriously. Some, that's why they're not in a relationship, because they don't want to be liars. Some, I believe they're scared of being into it because they understand what that means and they don't think that it can be happening. I think a lot of y'all don't think that y'all can get what y'all can give. And
Thank you, BD Jakes. We're gonna go to the next subject. Okay, so you got the relationship. You got the end or the marriage. You got it. Dog, do we really know how to sexually please a woman? Like, do you know the inner workings of the vagina? Do you know where to put your hands? Do you know what to lick? Do you know how to stroke? Do you even give a damn about that? Like, we know we're all smashers, but do we even take the time out to study the woman's body, to understand what she likes and all that? Who am I gonna go first? I'm gonna go to Zay first. He's the latest man. I'm pretty sure he has an insightful point of view on this one.
So your question is, saying that one more time. Do we
I
even know?
Do we even know how to sexually please a woman? And I'm not saying, I don't know what I'm saying, because I don't know. But so let's tell me.
But honestly,
we think we do.
We don't. We just think we do. Just like with everything else that we've been doing in life, we getting this old regurgitated information given to us. Oh man, you got to beat that. You got to, all that other type of stuff. You got to eat that. Everybody like different things, so we don't know. But how you find out, though, I can help you with that. Sit down and you have a conversation and you talk about those things. See, if you're talking along the lines of a relationship like you've been doing, right? This is a necessary conversation, because if you're talking about committing, like you just asked, to this person, probably for a long time, you probably want to make sure that what you're doing is what they would like. So it's no problem when you're engaging in that act. Hey man, what do you like? And that's hard for most of us men, because we said, what's the main thing that we have is an ego problem. We think we know everything. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna just handle it like that. Sometimes it's all right to ask a question. You don't gotta ask them for leadership, but just ask them, if me doing this, how that feel? How that make you feel? Is that all right?
Cool.
But that's just what I've come to learn. I don't know everything, but I don't mind asking a question, and I will listen.
Or you used to go by lick 'em low, shouty.
Never that.
In your backsliding days. In your backsliding.
Upgraded to Candy Liquor.
What?
Candy Liquor extraordinary.
Yeah.
I think you was a co-writer on that song. But I would like to know, do you know how to sexually please a woman? Do you understand the I don't know what the word I'm trying to say.
Well, you're doing so good. Intricate. I got you, my boy.
Intricacies of a woman's anatomy. Do you know?
Well, first of all, I seen my daddy pistol whip somebody that called him cocksucker, right? So I come from that era. Second of all, I don't want Zay to say we don't know. I think, and we're not gonna say the majority of men. I think some men do, and that's their gift. So either she's gonna tell you with her words, or you guys physically are gonna figure it out, what she likes and what she doesn't like. You know what I mean? If y'all intact, she's gonna let you know what worked for her and what don't. I do want to put a disclaimer out here that these damn toys is really making it hard for people to connect out here. Y'all throw them roses out, all right? Get your box beat up like your grandma used to. But, no, I think I did for a while simply because for the wrong reason. I was ego filled. Like in my mind, I'm about to turn this joker out simply because my name gonna be good and she probably gonna come back. All right. You give a woman an orgasm or a good time, boy, you are always special in her heart. You might get a call years later out the blue for her to, hey, what you just happen to be doing? But I do think there's a lot of, from our lady friends, that dudes have passed down some toxic habits, right? Where they really don't give a damn if she pleased or not. I might go in here and do my shalam bam bam, and that be it. They don't have no intentions of ever trying to connect with a woman. So I think there is a group of guys who do. Maybe it's a gift that do know how to please a woman simply because he's in tune with her, whether he listens or he physically adapted to seeing what works for her and what not. But I can't say all don't. I think some men do. But I do know it's a big disconnect, whether it's sex toys, porn, but people not really even realistic with sexual habits and whatnot. So
I'm gonna say E, all the above.
yeah, whatever.
Help
Listen,
you out.
I'm not no candle. That is the platinum package, boy. If I she get that, boy, ain't too many people got the motorboat. So that's just to put my name out here.
I will go before Harden. I said this on the show before, and I say it again. And this it's gonna sound crazy, but I listen to what women say to me, and I definitely listen to what women say to me. And the majority of the time, when I'm listening to women, especially on the sex topic, they say that it's not that important to them. That they could go without sex. They don't need it, and they'll say things like,
Can you believe that?
Look, I heard what you said.
Yeah.
I heard
Captain
what
Crunch.
you said. What you said. So at the end of the day, I look at it like this: why should I prioritize something that's not important to you? I think as men, we should focus on the things that's important to women, what they verbally say that's important to them. Because if they don't say that if they tell you that sex isn't important to them, and it truly is, they're telling you a lie, and they're trying to leverage sex against you. Because for sex to be important for two people, I think you can create a very, very healthy relationship. But when one party is lying and trying to leverage sex against the other party, that's where you get this toxic behavior, this toxic environment. So for me personally, I look at that as I make an analogy of this. Let's just say I was with a woman, right? And she said, "Hey, would you like me to cook for you?" And I said, "No, I don't. I'm not interested in cooking. You don't have to cook for me. The cooking ain't no big deal for me." And every time that woman asks me, "Hey, do you want me to cook you something?" I say, "Is that all you think about is cooking?" Why should that woman prioritize satisfying me with food if I'm constantly telling that woman that cooking isn't a big deal to me? I think that same thought process should be taken with women. You know that sex is important to a man. If you want him to prioritize pleasing you, tell him and make sure he knows how important sex is to you. And another thing I hear a lot from women is it's not about the action, it's about the connection, it's about the communication, it's about all these other things. Well, then if I would rather focus on those things instead of the actual pleasing of you. If I know that you're gonna have better sex with me because you like me, I'd rather focus on that. I think if you're gonna have better sex with me because of the way I communicate, I focus on being able to communicate better with you. Mm-hmm. But unless sex, the physical act of sex, is important to you, then I don't know why I should make it a priority. But that's just what I think. Demario, what you got?
I think that's a good synopsis of what we're talking about too. And I want to say that a lot of people saying who said that sex is not important to women. 95% of the women that say 90-day rule. Because I never heard a man say 90-day rule. You know why? Because sex is important to him. So the people who created the 90-day rule say it's the same people that said sex is not important to them. See how that go? It don't matter. They willing to make you work because they know why they making you wait for 90 days? Because it's important to you. So if a man told you wait 90 days, it wouldn't matter. Because why? We don't make those kind of rules because sex is important to us. So if it was equally, I agree with Chris 1,000%. And I think sex has been used as a tool for women to get over for so long because in the beginning, that's all they had because they didn't have no money. So if you didn't have no money, all you could threaten a man was with a good time. And I understand that, back then. So now, now you can work for your money. So now why are you still threatening us with sex? But to answer your question, I think the only way you can really please a woman, and all y'all had good answers too, I think is if you really, really want to. I think any man that actually wants to, like the want to pleasing her, I believe he's gonna listen to her body. I believe he's gonna listen to her what she say. He's gonna listen to when, like her mood and everything. He's gonna like get into her because his objective is not gonna be just to get him. It's gonna be to get her. I think over the times, I think Oris alluded to this. We've been taught to get us, and it's only because it begins with so many games, and we think that that's the win. The win is when we can get to the draws. Like that's the win. But then an old pimp always told me, "Oh, you got a slick hat now. You stand at the liquor store." He told me, "You didn't win. You won the battle. You got to win the war. The war is when you get in here." And I think in the hill, and I think that's when you get the residual. That's when you get that. He know me. He know me. He ain't good. He don't do this. But when he lick hill, that's just listening. And I ain't talking about with your mouth. That's just listening because women they gonna show you.
My question is this.
Agree.
My question is this: can you achieve that by not eating the box? Let me tell you. I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna say it publicly. I don't frequently do that. I don't do it often at all because I've been single for a long time, and there's been parts of my life where I've messed with multiple women, and I know it's wrong, but I don't want to be eating the box and then kissing you. Well, yes, I am using the wiener, but at least that can be strapped up at times. But
see, you know what's crazy, Chris? Yeah. Not to cut you off. That is the reason why I think that you can't do it unless you commit it. Because with commitment becomes freedom. In like now, anything goes. Now, from the rooter to the tutor, back to the like, you can get nasty as you want because you feel safe. And with commitment comes safety on all levels, with your heart, with commitment, with everything. Because just being realistic, what you saying, bro, I think you need to say that one more time because that's the reason why most men have bad sex is because they don't trust their partner. They're just trying to get what they can get the fastest way and get it on out of there. But what if you saying, this ain't going to be the last time I fuck her. This is what we do. And every time I want to go higher and higher. And if I fuck up this time, she ain't going to go tell her friend. And if I don't do it as good this time, she ain't going to do. And if she don't, I ain't going to. If you have that commitment and that safeness, then I think sex is when it's at its all-time high because you dare to try stuff. You dare to go beyond your limits. You push her beyond your limits. But when you just fucking, sometimes you can just have the beginning stages of you have good sex. But to have that, this nigga right here, boy, whoo, every time I hear
Chris talking from an era.
Every time I hear Super Mario on Super Nintendo, I do a little song. I do a little dance in my pants. Yeah, that's what you need.
I want to talk back to the sex machine, the love machine horse. Because if there's anyone that I think is the most romantic at the group, it gotta be Horace. So
Mustachio.
Let's get you back into the conversation, Horace.
You definitely got that Texas Twister notebook under the bed. Tell us how you grew that mustache.
My beard will be back in 4 days. To know that y'all treat a brother like that.
You gotta give it
don't
to
eat
you
that because you might get bumps. You booty faced it. You might get bumps. Your pores is open right now. Don't do it.
Oh man, what's your question, Chris?
I'm saying, do you think you can achieve it without eating the box?
I do. You know why? Because there are X amount of, I hate the term because they always want to create terms, sapiosexuals. If you get up here, man, there's women that, if you actually, I don't even know how to, because Mario come back and clean this up. There are women that will be so swept away with your intellect, your conversation, your sincerity. I've met people that before by the time y'all get to that point, she's already almost there or past there because you got up inside there. She's already made love with you in her mind a few times. So if you can get inside her mind, which is going to get inside her heart, and she can see things, oh man, that's a whole nother level of intimacy because a lot of women value intimacy as well. So if you can get upside of that, that's why pimps are so successful. They get inside a woman's head and they give her fantasies. It's wrapped in lies, but if a woman's into you and you start getting inside her fairy tale and you fit it, bro, before you might touch her and get her to, get her to orgasm.
That's
You know,
real.
so
Chris.
not always about that, because to be honest, hell, your sex might not be that fantastic, but she's already visually
Sold
somewhere
in her
else.
mind.
Yeah,
She admire you. Yeah, admire
So
you.
in her
Like,
mind,
that's what
like,
I'm saying. She think you Superman. So
Yeah.
every time Superman touch her, it's gonna just make it, because that's what it is. Dog. You're not gonna tell me every nigga out here who married is just the best Dean Dickless of all time. No, but that woman saying,
love you.
you still do it for me. Like just to even think, like Horace said, just think about it. Just like, and she perpetuates this in her head enough to make it so the littlest bit of you going in is the best thing to her, because she already painted this picture in her head of what this should be, what it should be. You know, the same thing when you talking to a woman and she just can't see your point, because she already in her head
her mind, she got it.
Her mind on what it's gonna be. It's the same thing I think with sex, because I thought I was doing a lot when I was young, and what I know now, I was doing it all wrong. But a lot of women was telling me all good stuff. You see what I'm saying? Because, and that's probably because they probably
You're
was
the
like
second person they had sex with.
Huh?
As a woman, but Horace, if a woman
I'm asking Paul that you asked that,
because
you
though.
Yeah, you
No,
with
saying,
your honesty.
If a
Now I'm
woman
gonna
love you,
say,
you should lie to herself.
damn you too.
Y'all just see.
It's the damn mustache. The mustache just has a mind of its own.
So a woman that love you, I seen women in love with a dude and they lie to themselves. Me and Zay worked with somebody. They were married. She used to be fighting about him and all of that, right? And one day she had this epiphany, and she was crying. All of a sudden, now this dude she was in love with and had all these amazing kids with was the smallest dick in America. Let her tell it. You know what I mean? So, but when we talked to him on the block, he around the city with can whamming. But then one day this epiphany broke. So, who's to say what's what? But I told her one day, like, well, you was in love with this nigga for all these years. What changed? Where all this amazing romance and love went at? So that mind is a big place, man.
I always think about this, Chris, to ask you this before you go into your next question.
Yeah.
You think that I think the same thing worked for men too, don't you? Like, you know how what Tootie just said, like, you done been with a woman and the sex done been great, then you break up, you be like, this you wasn't even really like, I don't have like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it was just you, like, because that was your woman, so you was, you was doing it, but in the back of your head, you had a bitch who can make your toes curl, you know what I'm saying? So I think that applies to frequency, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
That's a
you said
dangerous
something about epiphany, Horace. That reminds me, Piff from the Black Ass Conversations. I appreciate your shout out and everything like that. But I hate when every time you give us when you have to give us a backhanded comment. I don't agree with everything they say, but no, who fits that bill? Well, you agree with everything they say, and why we have to do that too. But I definitely appreciate the comment and the shout out, but I ain't like that shit. I thought it was a backhanded comment. Moving on. That
was a commercial break. Good.
Yeah. There was this popular internet content creator. Some things, whatever. But he had this meme that I seen, and I wanted to play it for you guys. Let's tell me what you think.
There's so many men that don't like women, but they're sexually unattracted to men, and they have no choice but to deal with you. And they act like it, don't they? Like, these men don't like women for real. They don't bond with women. They don't emotionally connect with women. They prefer to be around men. They respect men. They get along with men. They see men as their equals. They do not view you as it. But the only reason they're with you is because they're not sexually attracted to the men. If it wasn't for sex or power, they wouldn't be with you. I need y'all to watch out for these men. Actually, inquire about whether this man actually like women. Not if you're heterosexual. My question to you is, do you actually like women?
Wow, putting on chapstick.
Yeah.
Fingernails.
Give it to me first, man.
No. But I will go for for your correspondence first. But
Boy, y'all are rough on.
I would say I felt like that was interesting, and I think that it's something that we need to talk about. Horace, do we even like women? Horace, do we even like women? You go first.
I wasn't going that first. I was going to say this. I'm not even mad at Buddy. I want to show how guys like this, that's the new hustle. Let me get me a YouTube channel. And if I'm appealing to women to an extent and get up here and talk about men and get nothing but cheers. And that dude just started. He already got like 760,000 followers, I think, on TikTok and Instagram. At what point do women learn how to sift through the bias? You know what I mean? If you read the comments, and for sure, facts, and I'm like, damn, I ain't mad at brother because he's going to be lucrative. He probably already getting paid to do brand ambassador and getting revenue from his YouTube because of that type of stuff. Another Steve Harvey type, right? But no, women don't like when we say all women. We can't say all men. There might be a small threshold that applies to. But no, I can't rock with that. I cannot. Is what he's saying valid? Yeah, there are certain guys that fit that criteria. But it's not enough for me to say the majority. It's not even enough for me to say men. I think it's a small percentage, but hey, kudos to you for finding content that's clickbait or it's gonna get the women all riled up because they love conversation or somebody coming to say that what men ain't doing and this is why I'm single. So I'm gonna tackle that next week with a pastor. These dudes here, if you look at all of these people, what's the other dude with the eyes? They'll come on and say, it's not you, it was him. He didn't deserve you. He couldn't take you out to dinner. It wasn't much. Oh, he couldn't take you on that vacation? What kind of man is that? That type of stuff. Motherfucker, I've been working today. What is she on like the furniture? Like, so those dudes know. I want women to at least be fair with themselves and stop falling for these kind of mofos that say what you want to hear. Oh, it's good. It's like a Q-tip in your ear. But nah, man. Hell, he might be gay. Shit, to be honest, Chapstick Charlie over here on the video. What you need? What was so important? You had to chapstick through the video.
Okay. To this man's defense, he didn't say all. He didn't say some. He just said watch out for these particular men. So he was really niched in what he was saying.
I didn't get that.
So,
I didn't get that.
Yeah, okay. I definitely understand. I think studies show that if you want to sell something to women, you make them out to be the victim. So anytime you want to do that, if you want to appeal to women, you make them out to be the victim. But Damari, what you think?
I think that like you said, some of what he's saying is true, but I don't think that. I think it's a small percentage from the beginning of the time. I just have to believe it's a small percentage because God would have made Adam, John, and Mark. Then he made Eve. So we from the beginning of time we're attracted to women in a whole different manner. Now I do believe that a lot of time men have been taught to suppress their attraction or their want to hang around women because people have been told men that if you hang around a lot of women, you might be gay, you might be a sucker, you might be tender and all that. But I think men are at their more comfortable in their safest place when they around a bunch of women that really like them. I think that's when you can get a man. That's when you see men going on trips and like eating food they never ate, going wearing stuff. Most men who dress outside of what men think they should dress, a woman was the one who encouraged that. I think men are at their most vulnerable state is when they around a whole bunch of women because that's what they feel good at, especially when they accept it. When women accept them, they feel like they're the king of the crowd. So I think most men love to be around women, and they won't. And I think it's just not the society to say that. So we hide behind bravado and act like we want to hang around our nigga, but we really don't. Because most of the time we around each other, all we do is just crack on each other, talk shit about each other and all that. But when we get around women, we actually learn, grow, and then honestly, and then find out other stuff about the world. That's why, I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true at all. And I think the perpetuation of the internet might paint that picture. But in the real world we live in, hell no. I don't know. I don't see a nigga buying a boat and he go find women that he know he not gonna vote just to put on his boat because he want to be around women.
Mm-hmm.
Niggas go flying people out just to fly them out, just to hope that they can and paying for all their friends. And you know what I'm saying? When you balling and you make it in this world, the first thing you do is go get a whole bunch of women around you. That's how you can tell if a nigga got it. So I think if niggas didn't like women, the top 10% of men would be displaying a whole bunch of men hanging around them. And I don't see that. Every time I see the top percentage of great men, of nigga who really got it, they round nothing but women. So, and let me know when you reach your pinnacle of being a man, you go get as many women as you can and just hang around and just invest in their beautifulness, because at the end of the day, everything about a woman is beautiful. And I ain't just talking about like physical. So that I disagree with Charlie.
I like
the
him.
ladies man. Everybody, let's get a moment of silence. I gotta hear what the ladies man gotta say, because he is the ladies man. So let me talk to him.
Well, I'm gonna have to agree with Mario first and foremost, because like he said, I prefer to be around women. I'm sorry. I like you guys are cool, but if you catch me hanging out 9 times out of 10, it's me and a bunch of women. Not gonna lie to you. It's just how the way the chips fall over here. However, as far as that video, I think that it was smart and lucrative because I know that he brought the revenue in. However, I know that it wasn't factual. He's talking about a small percentage of men, and those men usually are immature because those are the guys that always want to hang around other guys. If you notice, we come up in the dance era. Those are the guys you see holding up the wall or hanging with all the dudes, but they want the dudes in the middle of the dance floor getting real sweaty. It's just gonna keep it, a buck. So, and those were the troopers. Those are the guys that Mario like to, say are the hunters. They're gonna go out there and go get their deer. So it's funny because he's smart enough to know to pander to women with what he's saying. Oh, like Horace said, oh, it's not you, it's him, and these guys got to be a certain way. Mario always tells you when it comes to this type of situation, you got to vet the man better. You see what his potential is, or what he's showing you, and you think that you can change him. If you see a guy that always constantly wants to hang on the block or hang with his homeboys, he don't look like he's in the art of going to go try them different foods, like Hardy said, or even taking a trip. So we know a lot of guys like that who don't know nothing outside of our little Tri-County area. They think going out of town is going to Miami, Florida. And that's really down the street, literally. So I'm saying all that because it's not all guys that don't want to hang around with women. I know plenty of guys that want to hang around with women, but I also know plenty of guys that want to hang around with women and don't know how to. They feel more comfortable around their homeboys, and that's a problem. I think that's the way he should have properly addressed it. Why is it that men feel more comfortable with their homeboys than with the women? Because what that does is that gives women an opportunity and men opportunity to open up and really, really speak. You'll find out some very interesting things in that conversation. I'm not going to go into them into depth, but I'll tell you, like I said, a lot of guys just don't know how to communicate with a woman. And a lot of women don't make it easy to communicate because they think that they got to have a certain amount of money, a certain dress code, a certain all that stuff, and you really don't. Which even stems back to, the conversation you were having, Chris, that I was trying to tell you about. You were saying your thing is you not wanting to do stuff with your tongue, your oral, whatever. That's not a part of your package. But the young lady, I believe it was Patrice, said it's intimacy, where you're a very honest person, right? So when you talk to women, your genuine spirit and nature, they know that you're not joking. But if she falls in love with your honesty, you'll never ever have to do something that you don't like, and she'll understand it, and you'll still be king to her. But you are honest enough to know how to speak to a woman and get those words out. It may not be a smooth landing, but you know how to make that connection. And I guarantee you, as rough and hard as you may be on women, you enjoy being around women than us. You'll tell us that you'll holler at us later to enjoy the company of a woman.
100%.
So what he's saying is misleading. And the sad thing, like Horace said, sorry about going everywhere, but the sad thing about it is women will look at that clickbait and think that he's right and get stuck in their head, like Hardy alluded to earlier, and have a whole scenario with an answer without ever asking a real man who's going to go, nah, I'm straight. I'll leave all my homeboys to chill out with you right now. I can get back with them niggas later because I know where they're gonna be and I know what they're doing. It's as simple as that. So I think that's incorrect, and definitely don't ever try to give a PSA and have chapstick at the end that look like you got nails. Yeah, real niggas not gonna believe you. I'm sorry, but whatever.
By that man's logic, I think he's right by the logic that he's showing. But huh? What happened?
We missing Chris.
He's being silent.
Yeah, you quiet. I needed to really tell Chris something.
The Tinder.
Yeah.
I ain't talking about the dating site. Boy, listen, man, I don't understand what you saw, but I would love to hear what you gonna say.
Well, let me tell you. Okay, so I saw by his logic, I think he was telling the truth, right? Simply because he took away the element of attraction. He said if the man wasn't attracted to you, if it wasn't for sexual attraction, he wouldn't like you. When you take sexual attraction away in that situation, if you take sexual attraction away, then the man judges a woman as a friend. When men go hang out with their friends, it's usually to acquire or admire women. So they either want to get women or look at women and say how fine they is with their homeboy. If being with a woman hinders that, which it normally does, he's not going to enjoy the time as much. If a man has another friend and that woman is jealous about him hanging out with another friend, then that relationship is normally bad. He's not going to like that. If he hanging out with her and every time he has to pay, if it was a regular friend like a homeboy, he wouldn't like those things. So if you take away the sexual element, it's the motivating force that we use to deal with women. Otherwise, it's an unfair friendship. It's not fair for me to have to initiate the contact all the time. It's not fair for me to pay for all the dates. It's not fair for me to try to coerce you out of sex, although you don't sleep with your homeboys. But these are that's not friendly acts. What I'm saying by what he said, yes, he's telling the truth. Once you take away the sexual attraction, but that's what makes us nicer to women. That's what makes us want to do things, our sexual attraction to them. So that's the only reason why I said I think he has a point, because without that, no, I'm not going to like a bad friend or a bad relationship with a friend. And that's what a lot of times we get when we take the sexual attraction away. So am I tripping or something, dog? Talk to me.
I think, dude, that topic ain't even enough, wouldn't even in the percentages be high enough for it be valid enough to make a video about it. I think most men and women deal and battle with rejection. He made a video that spoke right to that. And that's why it got so much fanfare, because as a content creator, I got to keep coming up with stuff to keep people engaged. So I'm going to put this here. And that's why you see so many people taking that and grabbing it to justify where they may be dealing with something in their personal life, like especially single women, and it comes to dating. Because there's a good percentage of women who feel like, I'm single, why am I single? And they've had some dates that didn't turn out, expectations fulfilled. So no, he may have some validity, but it's a small percentage. It's not enough to make a video about it and make it seem like it's a trending issue. That's my point.
He also talked about we don't respect them or think that they're equal. I think when you're talking to men respect honesty, consistency, facts, data, and statistics. That's what they figure. That's what they respect. Not a bunch of feelings, not a bunch of anecdotal situations. They want to talk about the rule, not the exception. And a lot of times when you're talking to women, they want to highlight the exception, not the rule. So if you want respect from men, that's what men respect. They respect truth. They respect that I can talk to you, give you facts, data, and statistics, and it may be able to sway how you feel. You're not stuck on this just because you emotionally feel that way. So again, you take away the sexual attraction. If the conversation isn't about stats, data, and statistics, you're not going to get respect. And as far as equal, no, I don't think men and women are equal. I've been saying that. I do not think men and women are equal.
I think this too. I think
comment.
Take another look at what Horace saying to this. I think what he said, if you go by his rule, just his persona, right? Just what he said, then that applies on both ends. Like, so, but you try to make it like it was a man thing when women like hang around women. Women take more girls trips than men take boys trips. So the opposite sex like hang around each other because we have more in common with each other. We can relate to each other more. But to say that because I like hanging around my homeboys, if I didn't want to fuck a woman, that's crazy, because you have to say the same thing about women, but you preached it like it was a man's, like it's a fault in the manhood. These new men, that was the undertone to what he was saying. Like, you got to watch these new guys because they like hanging around men. And what Vanessa said, because what you're not, you keep saying, well, I'm not saying gay, but that's your undertone to your message. It's saying, watch these niggas that hang around niggas too much, because you just never know. They might be, that's the tone. So I understand what you're saying word wise, but I'm saying women go on more girls trips together, women have more groups together. Women, so that same thing could be preached towards women, that women don't really like men then, huh? They just want to be around. If it wasn't for sex, then women wouldn't like men, huh? They wouldn't want to hang around men.
But that's what they say.
Who?
See how stupid that sounds now?
Right.
That's exactly what I hear.
Right. So, and I'm saying that's not true, because if you ask a woman, they're gonna say, nah, we all want men. We just don't want the bullshit. That's my point. But I'm talking about his agenda. His agenda was to pull away men and make it seem. I'm not gonna say it, because if I say it, it's gonna be pushing the innuendo, and I don't want to get the LGBT. I don't want to say men who hang around men are gay, so I'm not gonna say that. But because what are you telling me to watch out for then? So you telling me if I'm a woman and I hear that my homeboys have a good, because they say iron sharpen iron. So if he have a good crew of men that he likes, that's it. That's holding him accountable, helping him move forward, helping his business move forward, and everything that you want a man to be doing with his homeboys, then I should be eerie of that, because he might like hang around them more than he like her. But that's craziness. That's craziness, and it is, and I understand it. But when you say stuff, you gotta, like, you can say stuff on one side to make it seem like it's just watch them niggas, because that's the undertone of that. Watch them niggas, and there's nothing to watch, bro. Because if anything, you want any woman should want their male to have a healthy relationship with men and women. You have to. If I don't, because it's the same thing with like what Zay said. I love hanging around women, but if you just hate all niggas, there's something wrong with you too. If you just hate hanging around niggas, any woman who tells me she can't stand hoes and she don't like hanging around women, I'm thinking something wrong too. Like, so you can't. There's no other people out there who find some likeness in you. You don't have nothing you can find in common with the motherfucker who got the same stuff as you. Nah, bro. And I feel him. Uncle Chopstick Charlie, listen, he on his way to the top. Kevin Samuels, and even the people who against him or for him, he left such a big hole in the world of content creators, because he was so talked about. He was so like you so many people turned in that hate him or love him. He left a big gap of followers who just longing for somebody else to be the next him, whether it's the hate on Chapstick Charlie or they amen him. You still need that voice to be filled. And now you see like the dude who got canceled. Like, everybody's trying to fill this void of him, because that was so unexpected that somebody could be so in your face to women and reach such a high height and never get canceled. Just never heard of. He broke records and never. This dude who we were just talking about, he was around for like a month. And they put that bitch off of every damn site they could. So you know why though? Because of what y'all guys say every time y'all mention Kevin Samuels. Guess what y'all guys say right here who look at the screen? Y'all are not listening to the message. He's not saying that. And you know what proves it? They never canceled him. See, y'all want to make him say that, but if he was saying what y'all was saying he was saying, the proof was in the pudding. He'd have been snatched off the air. Because we've seen it now. We've seen misogynistic men. We've seen men who hate women. We've seen men who cuss out women and degrade them, and they don't last a month. But you want to put that on Kevin Samuels, but if what you're saying is true, he would have been gone. Because every other man who tried to manipulate the system and do exactly what y'all saying is gone.
YouTube is a motherfucker.
So I don't believe y'all. And y'all don't have no proof to say that Kevin Samuels was that, because his longevity proves y'all were wrong. Again, he started on men's case way more. Like Horace said, and like everybody else pointed to, more women called in. So that became his biggest what? Like Chris said, his biggest demographic became women. Most dudes, after I see you kill Chris, I'm not calling into your show. I just seen you annihilate Chris. Chris went out. I just seen it. I know every flaw Chris got, I got. I'm looking at Chris saying that's me. So with good sense, a man gonna say, I'm not calling in this nigga. He's gonna call out all my flaws. But what do women do? Call in.
Glutton for pain.
Day after day after day with the same problems he cussed the first bitch out by. He just cussed out Monday at 9. You call in, same attitude and rhetoric at 10 and expect not to be cussed out. But then I don't understand that. Then I be seeing educated women who I really respect never checking the women for calling in. This man had the same agenda every show. My lines are open. Anybody call.
And ring.
And the worst of y'all jumped online and got one after the other. And then you want to say, so you're not saying those people should be looked at as idiots? I'm never calling a man show who talking about men who bald-headed, got kids, and married. Because that's me. So why would I call this show and get cussed out? But then he the fool. Now I don't come from that. I come from you walk down the alley with all your chains on, money hanging out, yelling, I don't give a fuck, and I ain't got no gun, and you get robbed, that's your fault. Then if you get robbed, if I see two to get robbed doing that, there's no way I'm walking down that same alley doing the same thing. Then I see Zay and I do it again, then he's gonna say, you a dummy, but not women. It's her fault. It's his fault. Shame on him for doing that to her. The same smart, brilliant, undeniable, don't need a man. See, all these accolades you give until it's time to get held accountable.
Oh man, this has been a wonderful night, and we're gonna go to closing comments. But like what you said, my closing comment, man, I want to piggyback on what you're saying, Hardy, about the Kevin Samuels thing. I don't know how long ago, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks, I posted a Kevin Samuels video on my Instagram page. Before I posted that that video, I might have been like 800 followers or whatever, because I'm not one of those people that go follow for follow. So if you're following me, you're getting only my basically only my content. I don't post many other people, so I'm not going to have as many followers, and I'm not as active. But I have about 800 followers. Right now, I'm closing in on 1,300 followers after posting one single video of Kevin Samuels. And the video spoke about saying men get tired. And he complained about men being tired and how don't nobody give a damn. Sometimes your kid doesn't give a damn. And the comments that I've seen from men, the likes that I've seen from men, that I would say that video right now on my page is over 100K. It's over 100K views on it. Maybe like closing in on 200. That speaks volumes to me. There's a lot of men that feels that way, man. And I think that at some point we need to start acknowledging that, because the leading in suicide is men, leading in workplace deaths is men, leading in wars deaths is men. In this, whoever created this patriarchy was the dumbest motherfucker in the world, because we suffer from this patriarchy way more than any other people. So I just want I want you guys to think of that as you go. Be kind, be more kind to a man. Be more appreciative of a man. Be more respectful of a man. Watch what you say, because you can't kick his ass. And if you do get into a problem with a man, the one you're gonna call is another toxic masculinity having man to get that man off of you or to save you, which is crazy to me. But closing comments, Horace.
Hey, thank y'all for tuning in. I want to thank Chris for serving, doing his duties as host tonight. Yeah, it felt amazing. Did a phenomenal job handling business tonight. Want I'm gonna leave y'all tonight with the 48 laws of power. Always say less than necessary. That's my new thing. Hey, if you don't read the book, learn the laws of the 48 laws of power. Always say less than necessary. And the reason I picked it up, I've been watching The Wire again, which is one of the most phenomenal shows in TV history ever. But yeah, thank y'all for tuning in, and thank Chris for doing this thing once again.
Zay.
Gotta love Tootie. He tells us less is more and proceeds to give us verbal diarrhea. But we love it. We love you, bro. Chris, you did a great job with emceeing the show. You gave bro a night off, so I know he was just overly happy with you. I think after your benediction, we ain't need to say nothing else but post and share and comment, and we appreciate you. We won't lead you astray. What you got, Phonehart?
Hey, I want to say, first of all, Chris, you did a great job. And I think that it's always good to see the show from a different perspective because, you know, Horace, this is what he do. So anytime Zay, Chris, or me take over, understand now, we are, guard us with training. We have training wheels. So understand. I
Please
know
believe it.
Horace makes it seem effortless, but this is what he do. You know what I'm saying? So good job, Chris, because today's show seems like this is what you do. So you did a good job, man. Good job. I want to say happy birthday to Hester Ford. She was 116 today, the oldest living woman, and she's black. And I tell you something, the freakiest thing, if you look her up, when I seen the picture that she had, I seen it on, I'm like, what? So I'm thinking, I'm like, is it my grandma's birthday? This lady looks exactly like my grandma. The picture I have in my house, tell you how freaky it is. The picture I have in my house, I'm looking at it on my phone, and I got my grandma up in my room. My son walks by and said, "Oh, grandma." That's how much that's how much she look like my grandma. And I sent it to my mama, and she was like, "Oh my God, like this is crazy." But happy birthday to the oldest living person in the world, or woman in the world. Well, hold up, the oldest living American, and she Hester Ford, 116 today, man. Y'all, thank y'all for tuning out. This show was thought-provoking and provocative and a little edgy, but of all, it was what? A Black Super Friend show. So thank y'all for coming out Sunday.
Chris?
What's up?
No, I was gonna say shout out to you two hosting my birthday, my birthday buddy. I got a chance to do birthday shots with my guy at his place. I pulled up on him this weekend in Orlando. That's probably where most of these thought-provoking questions derive from. We had a great conversation on the balcony, as we do. You know, when we get on the balcony, thoughts start conjuring up and we start working, but we definitely had a great time. I enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? And I like what you did with the show tonight. Thank y'all all for tuning in. We done.